So this is the start of a new video. As mentioned in the last one, start making patches and whatnot. I've already got a rough template for this section down here, as you can see. Just made out of some cardboard, got it laid about. So patch that in there, and I'll just use the same template for the other side. So I made this, so I'll see about just getting the steel on there, clamping it in a few bits, and then just hammer it over. I think that'll just be the best way to do it for now, until I can source myself a good quality metal bender that's not going to actually break the bank. Forgot to mention in the last video, I'd already converted this toolbox into a welding trolley. So it's got a fifth wheel on the back for the gas bottle. So got the welding clamps, some butt clamps, spare tips, some tin snips, all cutting, grinding, welding gloves, clamps, more clamps, safety gloves and goggles, and then just a few cutting bits of equipment. I'll get a few more tools here and there when I need them, but for the time being, that should suffice. I think next on the list will be an electric finger grinder and maybe a electric polisher, just to use some Rolex discs on, but I'll get those in time when and if I need them. So yeah, before we lose too much daylight and before it gets too late to annoy the neighbours, we'll get cracking. I got all the little bits of metal templates cut out, welded in, so that bit's about done. Obviously I need to grind down the welds, make them a bit flatter, especially on the back side. I've got the initial pieces cut out for the actual inner sill section, so probably tomorrow when I get home from work I'll cut these bits out and get those folded, get those welded on, get that piece welded on, and then this sort of sill section done. And I'll weld that cap on that I've obviously cleaned up there. So I get all those welded on, get them epoxied, just aerosol for now, and then I'll look at patching in the little bits in the front wheel well, and that should be the left hand side done for patches, and then it's just moving on to that chassis rail, and that'll be the left hand side done. So yeah, so call it night for tonight and pick it back up tomorrow. So new day, just got back from work, and today the plan is to cut all this off, get the bits I cut out yesterday bent, and get those welded in. If I've got time as well, I'll get that bit I repaired yesterday finished and welded on. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Right, so the makeshift folder worked well enough. Obviously it's not as consistent or as easy as actually having a folder, but considering it's a crude design, I don't think it came out too bad, to be fair. So that's the obviously end piece, middle piece, the overlapping section, and the end, a bit of a flick at the top. So now I've got those made, I'll get these cut out and then get to welding. Yeah, overall not too bad. I need to get something just to tighten that up in there, but I think the nut on the underside is just spinning, so it won't tighten as well as it should. Yeah, all in all, not too bad. Right, so that's it for another day. Got a fair bit done today, so I won't have time to weld it up tonight. So yeah, I'll show you what I've done. There we are. We got one piece, middle piece, and end piece all made up. I ground off the welds on the back of this one and just kind of fitted it in place just to get the level right at the bottom, and then I'll grind those forward facing welds when I actually puddle weld it. Saves grinding, mounting, and then grinding. So yeah, so I think that'll be it for today, and then tomorrow we'll well, probably not tomorrow, day after, we'll get things welded up. Obviously put that cap on as well, but I've got bare hands, so I don't really want to touch the metal as is. But overall, not a bad day. Right, so it's a new day, a couple of days since the last bit. So yeah, plan for this evening, get all this essentially welded in and get it sort of aerosoled, maybe, depending on how things go. But yeah, let's get to welding and try not to set the floor on fire, because I'm not massively sure how flame resistant it is. So we'll see. Right, so I got the initial sill pieces on, or the inner sill pieces on. Not too bad for such a long weld. Go down there. Some of my gapping wasn't, or panel fitment wasn't the greatest, so I had to bridge a little bit, mainly along there. But all in all, not too bad. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of epoxy aerosol just to protect bits that I won't be able to reach when the front panel's on. Seam seal across it, just to help protect it a little bit. And yeah, then I'll get the other panel on, and then I think that'll be the night. So yeah. Right, so that's it for another day. I didn't get the front panel on, but I've got it mocked up just so I can come in straight after work tomorrow and nip it up. As you can see, I've got all these bits welded on and whatnot, and I've aerosol epoxied it and just put some seam sealer across the inside of the welds and on the seam seals where they overlap, just to protect from any water ingress. Later on in the future, I've done the same thing to the back of this panel as well. All that's been aerosoled and seam sealed across the back of the weld. So yeah, so I'll just nip some welds into all these, just puddle weld it, and I might just stitch weld it along the top and bottom as well, just to hold it in place a bit better. Yeah, that's plans for the next stage. So, very late now, so I'm going to keep it down a little bit. I've got the majority of welding done on the inner sill sort of structure section, but I'll come in tomorrow or the day after, whenever I get time, to actually grind down the puddle welds. So I've had a clean up in there as well. So that cap's on. So I just need to, I might just grind off the actual faces where stuff's going to mount up to. I might just leave the actual sluggers on there. But as you can see, stitch welded it. There's quite a strong weld all across that on the inside. I don't really feel the need to stitch weld that. But done those. So the repaired section, all that's on there. So really just to finish off this side, again, replace the chassis leg. I'm going to remake that rounded back section, at least up to sort of here, I reckon. Because when I had this off, I noticed all the side here was a bit sort of crusty. So yeah, I think I'll just remake obviously that little section, put a smidge in there, those two, and that should be this side actually all finished. I got the heat shield mostly off. There's just one stubborn bolt obviously at the back. So I think tomorrow I might just get the pair of ugger dugger on it. So it snaps, but it's a bit late now to be clanging and whatnot, so I'll leave it where it is for now. But at least it frees up some space so I can strip some stuff further back. Yeah, so it's exciting to see one side largely all back together with good metal. So yeah, head inside and after sleep. Also, I might actually, before I go, I might make a little bracket just to go in here, just add a little bit of support because it's got a little bit of flex to that. Same to that end. I figured if I've got the holes there, I might as well do something to utilise them, and just some little sort of button head screw bolts or something on the other side won't interfere with much. So, but we'll see how I feel when I wake. So, yeah, another day done, another day closer. So it's another day. I've been doing a few bits off camera again, just because it's kind of boring work. But I've made a good little bit of progress so far. So as you can see, removed the chassis rail itself. When I was doing this section, looking through there, I saw that it was a bit minging in between there. Where's the piece? So that was it on the inside. That was where it batted up to the replacement panel. So I've remade that essentially, just a quick sort of plate so I can screw into where it spot welded in there, and then I'll weld that through on the inside of the actual car. So same as on the floor, I'll clean up around the holes and I'll weld it from this side. I've also ground off all the welds, made it a lot more smoother. I ended up removing the sluggers as it just looks nicer. I've also been tackling some of these bits, so made a little patch to go in there. They're kind of rough and ready sort of patches. Another one that goes in there. Well, with one hand it's kind of hard to do that. I'll end up welding those in. I've also made some little patches to go in. One there, then one to go over the top to obviously make it look better, and another one to go in under here. I just need to clean a bunch of stuff off, the likes of clean inside those sections there, and likewise on the rear. So I think I'll just whip a wire wheel in there and just clean off best I can. And so likewise in there, then I'll spray some of that aerosol in it and then weld it from the top. The replacement the replacement chassis rail section I've got is actually kind of handy dandy, because when I removed the chassis rail, found that it was actually very hard to take out in one section, so I've had to obviously undo everything, cut it down, take out in two. So the people that make these, I think they're called clump fab or something. I think they're near Cambridge sort of way. They make these actually slightly larger, so you can fit those on top of the actual section instead of trying to have to actually slide it under. So yeah, saves a bunch of faffing about. So when I've cleaned these up, I'll probably end up putting a few welds on the inside as well, spraying it and then seam sealing it from the inside as well as the outside as well, just to make everything last a bit better. So that's the plan. So get all these bits welded in, clean up beforehand, and that's it. So cut to the next scene when everything's all cleaned up. I'll have all the patches mounted in before I start welding. So let's get to it. Right, so I've got all the patches roughly in place. So as you saw, the smaller ones there, got that inner section held in there, that piece there, a little strip, and that piece in there. I've got the chassis rail in as well, but as convenient as it was having it fit over the top, it seems that it's too short to actually cover the spot welds to actually get the previous one out. Strange do. So I might whip the chassis rail back off, puddle weld up the excess holes, and yeah, go from there. So I'll get that off, and yeah, we'll get to welding. Right, so I've made some adjustments for the chassis rail itself, and it's a bit more workable now. So just filled the excess holes, left a little bit of an opening there, so I'll just weld it through that, because I'll stitch weld around the end of the replacement sections. So yeah, nothing really left to do now than just to get in and weld. Right, so that's it for another day. I got a lot of the welding done, well, pretty much all of the welding done. Some bits were easier than others to do. The ones that really caused problems were the ones at the top of the front wheel well. Just as the metallized joining too was a little thinner than I anticipated. It was a case of a little bit of blowing holes and chasing. See, not the prettiest of welds. That one ended up being alright. That one ended up being alright. From the other side, managed to puddle weld all that. A little bit inside there, that end piece there. So that's all attached. And then stitch weld it along this side, just for a bit of extra strength. yeah, overall not too bad. Obviously I'll grind back a lot of these welds, make them a bit more presentable. So yeah, as I say, call that a night, and I'll probably come in here tomorrow and grind them all back. Yeah, and that should be this side for a lot of the welding that I currently know of. Should be done. So apart from the odd little patch here and there that I'll come across later on, yeah, this side's about done. So yeah, I'll heading for the night, and I'll catch back up once I've ground everything down, I think. Right, so I've put in a few hours in here this evening. It's been a bit of a warm one, so I wasn't rushing about while I was in here. But I got a good amount of the grinding done on the underside of the car, so I can get it aerosoled and protected, get the wheels on it, and grind down the stuff inside the actual cabin with it on the floor. Saves trying to work around the brace that I've got welded in, and the two bits on top of the wings, I've got a belt sander on the way, so I'll tackle those with that, seeing as they're a bit more of an intricate shape. So I'll show you what I've been doing. So I kind of just nipped the top of the stitch marks off just to make them flush for the actual panel itself. Likewise with those. Got the heads off of a lot of the puddle welds, and yeah, ground that a bit more happy into the original piece. So yeah, got all this bit done. Got that front panel ground in as well. Again, kind of just nip that in, and got that piece ground in as well. I'll get these bits protected for the time being, get it down on the floor, and I'll tackle those bits when the finger grinding gets here, and I'll tackle those bits when the car's actually on the floor. So I'll probably get all that done, get the wheels back on it, get those bits ground, and then I think the next stages will be bringing it out, giving the garage a good little clean, and then either doing a 180 in the car, bringing it in, or I'll just move it over. But I'll see what has less complications in the end. So yeah, we're still moving forward, working out little odds and sods, what tools I need. It's definitely become apparent that a finger grinder is definitely needed. Yeah, so now I've got that ordered, I think I'll start looking at a small orbital sander or just a cordless polisher. Just get a Rollick attachment for it, put on some little flap discs and things. Yeah, so jump forward ahead. Right, so it's been a couple of days. My belt grinder was delayed in shipping, but I put in a couple hours today after work, and I've got the tops of the chassis rails ground down, the two patches on the inside of the wing, inner wing structure type stuff. I didn't put it down on the wheels before I did it. I just worked around the brace. I largely didn't put it down just because I'd have to tackle the two welds the front of the car, both inside and outside. I didn't really want the wheel getting in the way. So as you can see, so got those ground down, one there, and then there. There was a little bit down there I had to sort out as well. And got that bit sorted out, and that bit sorted out. Likewise from the back. So I don't think it's too bad considering how it wasn't the greatest of welds to lay down, given how thin the original metal was. So yeah, I'm going to chuck some epoxy on those. I think I'll move the matting out of the way tonight, get the wheels on, and probably get it down on the floor. So on my next available day in here, I can get the Golf off the drive, move this out, give in here a proper good clean. And I've had a few days to think about a few things, and I think doing a 180 and bringing it in front end first, I think that's going to cause more issues than it will solve. Whereas if I just move it over to the other side of the garage, when I tackle the front right hand side of the engine bay, I can just get the front end jacked up where it currently sat and then just leave it there. I know I've not got to tackle anything this side as far as I know, so it leaves me with the space on the right hand side of the garage to do stuff that I need to do up front. So yeah, so I think that'll be the end of this video. Next video, I think it will be tackling the right hand side, getting, again, like I did on the left hand side, getting all the outer panels off, all the inner structure sort of stuff, and getting up on axle stands ready to start stripping bits down and all that like we did on this side. But at least I'm going in it with a bit more knowledge from this side as to what to expect behind the panels. Yeah, so we're moving forward slowly but surely. It's a bit of a weird one because if I was to do this, 10-12 hours a day, I'd be making far more progress. But because I'm only doing 2 hours, 3 hours here and there, you spend time setting up and spend time shutting off far more frequently. So it's a little less utilised all in, but we're moving. I'm hoping to have the body of the Vitara kind of sat on the chassis before winter. That way I can weld them together and just bring them in the garage whilst all the British winter weather's here. Yeah. Once again, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And again, tell me what you'd like me to do different. And I'm slowly getting better at video editing, but everything's shot on my phone. I'm just using phone apps to actually edit videos. So there's no big fancy, $6,000 video equipment involved. So yeah, catch you on the next one.
Check it out.